Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk big stories with small businesses. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and today my guest is Jake Conway from Salcombe Distilling Co. I got it right, hey! Who's bought loads of gin, non-alcoholic stuff and the alcoholic stuff. So we're going to talk about gin. And you've had so many hats since I've known you for so many years.
That sounds bad. You've had so many hats.
But you've actually found the hat that you really, really like now, because you've been here for a long time with Salcombe Gin, haven't you? So
yeah, a year last week.
Yeah.
Celebrated my first year, which was good.
You're one of the brand ambassadors, so you're actually getting the name out there. And we were at a YP event the other week, and one of your bosses was talking, and it was an unknown fact. What I didn't know about was Salcombe Distilling Company is one of the only distilleries in the world which is accessible by boat.
There you go.
There you go. And it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. And you're thinking, how the hell do you make gin? And it looks really small on the thing, but you're obviously doing really well.
Yeah, the difference between us and, say, like a whiskey distillery is whiskey needs to age and be stored in barrels, and you need lots of space for that. Yeah. Whereas gin,
this is in bottled and out the door.
It's quite easy to make gin. If you can make gin on a Monday and it can be on the shelf in a shop on a Wednesday. So it's as long as you get the recipe right, it's quite easy.
That's not a bad thing. Constant supply of gin. So we've got two of your gins here. We've got the pink gin and the white gin.
Can't call it a pink gin.
Oh God, it is sort of pinkish gin.
It's a rosé gin.
Rosé gin. Yeah, it still goes down the same way.
You can call it a pink gin if you want.
Rosé gin. And which is, I prefer this one actually to this one, because I don't like that's a bit too. I like this one. And then I love I think it's the Midnight Sun that I really like, and your
range,
and your London Light.
London Light.
Yeah, which is the non-alcoholic range. Which is, I'm thinking, I might get some of that for Christmas. And then I'm thinking, no, my daughter will just drink it all.
Yeah. To be honest, this sounds a little bit depressing, but it's not. Something happened last week. We're running the Exeter Christmas markets at the moment, and all of the sales team are doing some shifts up there. So I was up there last weekend. Yeah. And on the Saturday, we had a lady come over, and one of the best things I can ever hear is, "Oh my God, I love Salcombe Gin," because you're like, You're
doing your job.
But yeah, she came over and she went, "I love Salcombe Gin. It's my favourite gin. I've been drinking it for years." I got diagnosed with cancer this year, and I can't drink because I'm going through chemo at the moment. And I kind of said, "Well, have you tried our non-alcoholic range?" And she was like, "I didn't know you did a non-alcoholic range." And so we tasted through it all, and she was blown away, and she started crying. And it sounds bad, but she actually said to me, she was like, the one thing I was dreading this Christmas
was not being able
to drink with my family. And she said, now I'm going to be able to put it in a gin glass with the ice and with the garnish and have a drink with my family. She said, you've no idea how happy this has made me. And that's the kind of things that we like to do with New London Light, and not just for that, but if you've got somebody that's pregnant and they're feeling left out because they can't drink, or just somebody that genuinely can't drink for any other reasons, this allows you to be able to feel like you're part of what's going on and feel included with everybody
without anybody knowing.
And the thing is as well, is the stories that I hear back from people that are in those situations, it's just great. It's because it's offering something different to somebody.
Yeah, it is. Like, you come along to the YP events and you do your little tasters, and do you know what I mean? It is a lovely product. And then on top of this, you've actually branched out into rum.
Yeah, well, we actually started making rum 3 years ago. We made a rum called Lantern Rock, which is a single estate sort of cask-aged rum. But the problem is we can only make a few hundred bottles of it every year, and they always sell out because we age it between 6 to 12 months in sort of used bourbon barrels. Yeah. And the problem is that everybody's always like, we want your rum, we want more of it, and we just can't produce it. So we created this one here, which is called Lantern Rock. No, not Lantern Rock. It's called Island Street. Lantern Rock's the other one. So Island Street is actually the road that our distillery is on. Yeah. So this is actually a blend of 3 rums. So it's Lantern Rock is our kind of the base in it, and then we've hand selected 2 Caribbean rums, one from Jamaica and one from the Dominican Republic. We blended it together with almost like a very light pineapple spice, and so we've made a light spiced transatlantic gold rum, and it's fantastic. And honestly, the feedback, I genuinely have not had anybody drink it and go, I don't like that, and it's crazy. Normally you get people that kind of go, oh, that's all right. But I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to love it, so it's really great.
Yeah, no, I tried it. It's very nice. In fact, I like that. I've tried all of these. You do have your favourites because there's this thing. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you drink, you do have your favourites, and that is my favourite. That is very nice, and I think it's which one is it? Is it the Midnight Sun?
Got so Midnight Sun, Aegean Sky, and First Light.
Yeah, Midnight Sun. Yeah, I prefer that one out of the other two.
Do you want to try some?
Yeah, go on. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5. No, it's nobody watching this podcast is going to know that it was filmed at 11:30 in the morning. Okay, so it's 5. It's 5:30.
Yeah,
it's
5 o'clock,
5:30,
guys. Yeah, which might try some.
So there you go. Everybody loves that noise. So this is Start Point. Yeah. Start Point is our classic London dry, citrus forward. Got lots of red grapefruit, lemon and lime peel. It's really citrusy.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Where I'm thinking about going back a couple of years, this was not a name that, do you know what I mean, was in Cornwall, do you know what I mean? So you've done a fantastic job of getting this brand into Cornwall, because you're everywhere now, really, aren't you? The last
I think what's happened is people now want a premium product when they're going out and they're in a pub or a restaurant
at home.
Yeah, or at home, and I think years ago, you go back 5 years ago, people would go into a pub and they'd go, oh, look at what gins you've got, and they'd choose one of the house gins. But now that they want something different because
flavoured gins or pink gin or rosé gin was not heard of. Do you know what I mean?
And years ago, and that's the reason why we branched out into making the Rosé Sainte Marie was it was to create something that was different to what was on the market, because obviously the market was kind of oversaturated with sweet, sticky pink gins that were kind of loaded with sugar, and that's not what we wanted to do. So we created Rosé Sainte Marie, which is a dry Mediterranean style rosé gin.
That is really nice. Do you know what I mean? I've had that before and I didn't move it, but I'm quite enjoying this one.
That's great.
Quite nice.
Start Point is actually the lighthouse, which is just around the corner from Salcombe.
Yeah.
So it's obviously brings sort of everything back to the whole company is based around the sea, the oceans. We're born of the sea. It's so everything we do always kind of falls back into that kind of ocean or something to do with the distillery or where we are.
Yeah. Yes, no, love it. Why am I the only one drinking this? Why aren't you drinking?
Because it's 11:30 in the morning, Debbie.
You just told everybody it's 5 o'clock.
Sorry, okay. So everybody loves this. It's like,
yeah.
It's the same as when you're in a restaurant and you order a bottle of wine and you get that pop of the cork. It's
yes.
So Rosé Sainte Marie, it's incredible. So it's a Mediterranean style dry gin that we basically.
Yes, I do like this one.
We steep fresh strawberries in it, which gives it that little bit of like fruitiness and the flavour. And my biggest selling point for this one, for anybody, is it's one of only 2 rosé gins or pink gins in the world that's won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Awards. So yeah, you
can taste the difference between the two. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit more subtler than that one.
I would say this is the pink gin for people that don't like pink gins. You always get the guys that walk in and go, I don't want a pink gin because it's very girly, and then they drink this and they go, oh, actually, that's quite nice. I enjoy that.
It is nice. Do you know what I mean? Because I was never ever drink, because I don't like the juniper taste. It was not one for me. Gin tonic, no thank you, I'll try something else. But because of all of these things that are coming out on the market now, especially this one, I like this one, it's given me the chance to actually drink something that I would never drink before. And do you know what I mean? There's so many, obviously, brands out there. There's so many that obviously you get what you pay for. If you want a cheaper gin, then you're going to get it. It's laced with sugar, really, isn't it? That's what gives it the sweet taste. These ones, the high end stuff is not.
No, and I mean the other thing with Rosé Sainte Marie is there's so many really delicate botanics in there. So you got things like orange blossom, lemon verbena, lavender, rose petals, and pink peppercorns. Those things, all of those botanics just add to this really nice, smooth.
It is very nice. Yes, very nice.
So do you want to try the rum?
Yeah, go on, I'll try one as well. Might as well say, yeah.
25 to now, it's fine. It's getting a bit later in the day.
Oh dear.
So I've already told you about the rum, but
yes, I do. Yeah, we did taste it, didn't we, at the YP event.
The rum for me is just
it's got a lovely smell.
It's that pineapple.
You can smell the pineapple.
And the thing with this is you can just drink it neat. You can drink it neat over ice. You mix it with ginger ale. I mean, it's one of those things you can do whatever you want with it. There's
Yeah, I'd have to drink it with something because it's a bit. Ooh.
You sure? I've seen you just necking straight gin before, so I know what you're like.
Yeah, and then I've got to drive home. So you've got to be careful what you drink. But no, that you can. I love the smell of it. You can actually smell the pineapple in it. It's really, really nice.
Well, I suppose we better move on to the non-alcoholics.
Yeah,
don't we?
get the alcoholic stuff out the way
before you drink it.
Yeah.
So we've got 3. We've got New London Light First Light, New London Light Aegean Sky.
So obviously, yeah, you can tell they've all got different bottles. What's the difference in the flavours going on with each one?
Okay, so we'll start with First Light.
Yeah.
So First Light was the first one that we created, and it's so the best way to say it is it's inspired by gin. It's not a non-alcoholic gin, but it's inspired by gin. So it started as alcohol, and then we use something called a rotary vacuum still, which basically draws the alcohol out.
Yeah.
But we distill it with juniper, cardamom, fresh ginger, coriander. There's orange, sage, and the one thing that I like about this one is we actually put a bit of habanero capsicum in it. So what it does, it gives it a little bit of warmth on the back of the throat, so it kind of tries to recreate the feeling of drinking alcohol.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah.
And the other really interesting thing about this as well, that one doesn't sound as nice as the calls. There you go. So the other really interesting thing about this as well is a double shot of this is only 5 calories.
Even better.
We use Fever Tree as our tonic that we use a choice. It's a great brand. We've worked with them for years. But a can of Fever Tree tonic is about 30 calories.
Oh, even better.
So a double with one of these 35 calories. So if you're looking for a drink that is healthy and really nice, low calorie,
even better.
So you'd actually serve this with a wedge of fresh orange and a sage leaf.
Oh yeah.
I always say
I can taste something in there.
And I always say with the New London Light, and it's the same with everything. I'm very lucky to go around to some incredible venues all over Cornwall and train staff members and do tastings, and I taste all 3 with people, and there's always one that people go, oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But then the other 2, they it's very rare that you go, oh, I really don't like that. But there's always 2 that you're not too sure about, but one that you love. But the one that you love is always different depending on what your palate is. If you prefer bitter drinks or sweeter drinks or something a bit more classic, then you'll have a favourite one.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that one.
So
sort of ish.
That was First Light. Oh. And then this is Aegean Sky. So Aegean Sky is Mediterranean bitter citrus. So if you like, a Campari or an Aperol, that style of drink, normally this is the one that you would like. So you've got things like blood orange, kumquat, bergamot, rosemary and olive.
You can taste the orange in it.
Can you smell the olive as well?
You can actually.
Do you know what this reminds me of? And
you can taste the olive in it as well. I've just got the hit of olive on that one.
And what this always reminds me of, and God forbid if anybody is from Salcombe Distilling Companies watching right now, but
you do realise I'm going to tag you in this.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. LinkedIn. So the one thing with this one in particular, and it always takes me back to my childhood. One of the things I used to love eating as a child was jelly. And I used to pester my mum and dad to be like, make some jelly for us, make some jelly. And they do, the traffic light jelly. So you have the but when you pour the hot water into the jelly and you get that smell. It takes me back to that.
That smells completely different to the
time.
taste. You can taste the olive in that. I can taste the olive.
And then finally, we've got Midnight Sun. So Midnight Sun is my favourite.
Yeah, I think this is my favourite.
It's this is the one for the pink gin drinker, somebody who likes more berry-led drinks. And this one is kind of Nordic inspired. So you've got things like lingonberry, elderberry, sea buckthorn, Icelandic moss, and kelp, and pine.
Yeah, this is
I might actually pour myself one of those.
Yeah,
I'm a bit
like
jealous that you
yeah.
haven't one. Yes.
Yeah, because it's. Do you know what I mean? You can tell there's distinct. Those other 2, there's a distinct. This is a bit more mellow. There's not a distinct hit with that one. You can definitely taste the olives in that one.
One of our accounts, actually, one of our house pour accounts, the guy that I work with there, he said to me, this is his favourite, and he said to me, it's just like sitting under a pine tree eating a punnet of raspberries. And I kind of sat there drinking it one day going, yeah, he's right. It's because the garnish you put in this is raspberry and mint. So
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This has been so nice.
It's just great as well. Like I mean, like it's. I think so many people. I see it all the time. I mention the word non-alcoholic, and you just see people's faces. They go, "Oh, they want non-alcoholic." But actually, like when I go out for dinner, like I'm normally the designated driver, and I don't mind that. It's more because I don't really trust Zoe's driving. Hopefully, she doesn't see this. But I'm normally the designated driver, and when you go into a restaurant, you open the menu up, and you look and you go, well, I can have a glass of wine, or I can have one cocktail, and then you have that drink, and you finish your starter, and then you're like, oh, what else have you got? A Coke, a lemonade, an orange juice, and you just sit there, and you just like, this is boring or full of crap, and whatnot, and now.
You've got an option.
You've got a really tasty option that not only tastes good, but it makes you feel like you're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And
and a lot of it is psychological. Do you know what I mean? If you think you're drinking alcohol, then do you know what I mean? I don't have to drink alcohol to have a laugh. Do you know what I mean? But it does sort of help sometimes. But do you know what I mean? If you're joining in with everybody else who's drinking alcohol, then you get involved. Do you know? If you're sitting there with a glass of Coke, and you think, oh, at least if this is in a gin glass with the right garnish, you feel like you're drinking alcohol. You're going to be more in the moment with everybody else.
So one of the most common cocktails, or low alcohol cocktails that I see all the time, that are popping up from people that use our product is so obviously a Negroni is gin, vermouth, and Campari. It's a very strong cocktail. You can only have one, and that's it for your driving. And so what people use is this is the gin alternative, this is the vermouth alternative, and they add the Campari. So it, rather than it being non-alcoholic, it's low alcoholic. So you can call it like a low Grony. But the difference is because you've only got that 20% of alcohol in the Campari, you can still have four you can have four cocktails and be able to drive.
Yeah.
So actually you can drink one and then order another one and not have that worry, but you're still getting a little bit of alcohol, but you're splitting it over 3 or 4 drinks rather than just having one and that's it for the night.
Great idea. Great idea. But what I must say on that is everybody's alcohol tolerance is completely different. so do you know what I mean?
That is true. That is true.
That is true. So we've got to be very careful what we say. So thank you so much for coming in today. It's been an absolute pleasure, especially with the gin and the non-alcoholic gin. And obviously, Salcombe Gin's just going from strength to strength. So I look forward to seeing you in more places in Cornwall.
I look forward to being there.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us today, and I will see you next time on my podcast. Bye bye.